All right, I gave you access to record.
All right, let's say I've got it now. Okay, cool. Well, thank you everybody for coming and joining us for this meeting tonight. My name's Alex Drake. I'm the athletic director at RTHS. For those of you who do not know me already, this is the preseason meeting that's required every season. So if you are a 3-sport athlete and played a fall and a winter sport, odds are you've already heard and seen some of this stuff twice already. But the Athletic Association does require that we have meetings, both team specific and administrative, every season. So this is going to be on YouTube. If you miss anything, have to step away for a few minutes. Once it's done, I'm going to record, upload it tonight or tomorrow sometime, and I'll send the link out when that's done. And then the coaches will have their team specific meetings at a later time. I know a couple of them are going right after this meeting tonight. Also, at the very end of this video, this presentation, there'll be a QR code that you'll need to scan with your phone that will take you to a Google form that you fill out attesting that you actually viewed this presentation, which is going to be a requirement this season. All right, so just to real quickly go over kind of what the purpose of these meetings is. The administrative meeting, which is this one, which is me kind of going over stuff that applies to every sport in the department, pretty much any season, is the department-wide policy. So things regarding eligibility, the forms that are required, like physicals and all of that, transportation, that kind of thing, like transportation policies, I should say. The team-specific meetings will go over what the coaches' guidelines are about attendance at practice, what their expectations are, how they set the roster, how they determine playing time, uniforms, like carpool if it's needed to get to matches and practices and stuff like that. So more team-specific stuff. And in both meetings, both admin and team-specific, you'll have the opportunity to ask the coach questions. All right, so want to go over some, just to introduce, you know, a little bit of what we're doing here, especially for those of you who are sort of new to RTHS athletics, what some of the benefits of education-based athletics are, as they're more commonly called nowadays in the lexicon. There's been a lot of studies done over the years that show the benefits that high school sports have for the athletes. Better physical fitness is kind of an obvious one. Much better grades. You know, studies show that, you know, student athletes score anywhere from 10 to 15% higher on standardized tests, do better in their classes, things like that. Athletes are in school more. Some of that has to do with health and stuff like that. It allows athletes to make bonds with coaches and with their teammates and form kind of a social network at school, and people they can lean on in times of crisis, which is incredibly important in a time when mental health is so valued and such a focus. And it also teaches other life skills as well, you know, perseverance, trying to do it a little better every time, and just idea of hard work, what we at school called Raptor values and stuff. Hold on one second, my 3-year-old. What, Maisie? No, I can't. I can't do it. I can't do it, Maisie, go. All right. My wife's not home. I have 3 kids. So this presentation will go over some of the highlights from the athletic handbook. Please read over that. I've sent the link out several times. Based on a few conversations I've had with some people, I'm led to believe that not everyone is reading the handbook or hasn't seen it. It's been sent out in Parent Square here and there. I'm trying to make it more available. So please give that a look through that. Let me know if you have any questions there, and you can ask questions at the end of the presentation here if you have any. Can't hit the whole handbook. This is going to be some of the highlights, basically, things that are most important to the most people. All right. So the first thing is the athletic fee. The athletic department is extremely nonprofit at RTHS, and cost of a lot of stuff has gone up recently. I don't know if anyone saw the news. Back in December and January, the officials for various sports, especially basketball, threatened to go on strike unless their pay was raised. So their pay was raised mid-season, so athletic departments couldn't account for it in their budget and stuff like that. The cost of equipment is going up with inflation and stuff too a little bit. Facility rental prices have increased a good bit lately. So the athletic fee is just kind of honestly a drop in the bucket that helps us take care of some of those costs. The first sport, if it's your first sport this year, the fee is $75. You can pay it on GoFan. The second sport is $65 and the third sport is $50. So it does taper down. And just to show how expensive some of these things are, 1 hour of practice time at WakeMed for soccer is $75. So if you're a soccer player and you pay the athletic fee, you're basically paying for part of one practice. So it really is just a slight, assistance to us with the expenses, right? You can pay that in GoFan. I sent the link out in Parent Square. That needs to be paid. We're not going to keep anyone from playing a spring sport if your fees for the spring sport are not paid immediately. But and I sent this out in the message, if you are in arrears on fall or winter athletic fees, you cannot participate in contests this season until that is caught up. So we don't need to get too far behind on that. Furthermore, if you are a senior and athletic fees are unpaid, that will affect the mailing of your diploma. So keep that in mind as well, please. Eligibility. So we have some eligibility requirements. Some of these are state of North Carolina mandated. Some of these are athletic department policies that we have at RTHS that sort of bolster the state policies. So you must have passed at least 5 classes last semester. It's not a cumulative GPA. It's not anything like that. Eligibility is always based on the previous semester. So for fall, which was Q1 in Power School, you had to have a passing grade in 5 classes. If you took 6 classes, you could be failing 1. If you only took 5 classes, if you had 2 seminars, only took 5 classes, you had to pass them all. The athletic department policy is also that you must carry in those 5 pass classes a weighted GPA of 2. So that is a C average. If you make a C or better in every class, you will never be ineligible academically for athletics at RTHS. You must have all your forms completed in Dragonfly. Most everyone has that done at this point. A couple of people are missing a couple of things, and I've tried to get in touch with folks who are missing stuff. Just looking ahead to next year, since we're now kind of on into the spring, if you are coming back next year, I strongly encourage you to take advantage of several opportunities that are out there with Emerge Ortho, with Select Physical Fitness and places like that, or Select Physical Therapy and places like that, to get a physical over the summer. So that way you don't have to worry about it expiring mid-year, getting another one, getting an appointment during the school day to get a new physical and stuff like that, to have to run to Minute Clinic the day before tryouts and all of that, right? If you get a physical in June and have it on the Athletic Association's form, you're guaranteed to be good for the entire next year. And it's just one less thing that we all have to worry about. You can't have been suspended from school twice in the current academic year. I will go over behavior policy stuff in a minute, in another slide. And you cannot have quit another sport in the current academic year. It is in the athletic handbook that we have a quitting policy just to deter students from, dabbling in stuff, not going in half committed and deciding to quit, overcommitting themselves with having a sport and 97 other clubs and all of that, right? It's not really fair to anybody, especially if there's tryouts and cuts for you to make the team and then quit 3 weeks in and you've taken somebody's spot. We do not want to have that happening. So the policy is, just going to throw it out there, if you quit a sport, you are ineligible for all athletics at school for the remainder of the year. And if you quit a spring sport, you are ineligible the following fall. So please keep that in mind when making decisions about your commitment to athletics at RTHS. Some stuff about attendance and academics. Always get this question, so I wanted to clarify this. To participate in athletics, you have to be present a majority of the school day, so at least 4 periods. There are some exceptions for that. If you are out because you have a well visit to the doctor or college visit, something like that, religious observance, if it's pre-approved by me and you turn a note into the office that it's an excused absence, you will be allowed to participate in most cases. If you are out for any part of the day for illness, though, we're not going to let you go out there. If you're not well enough to be at school, you're not well enough to go out there and exert yourself physically. Okay, so we're just not going to do that. Early dismissals. This happens a lot in the spring, especially before daylight savings time changes, where we do have a lot of athletic events during the day that are kind of, early afternoon. We're lucky this year with girls soccer. All of our kickoffs are 6 o'clock. In the past, we've had a lot of early season kickoffs that were earlier, like 4:15, 4:30 and stuff like that. But if you have to leave early, it happens a lot with tennis and golf, where they start at 3 and 4 o'clock because of facility issues and lights and stuff like that. I or the coach will email the teachers morning of and tell them who's going to be out and what time they're leaving. So the teachers should know and should mark them absent 1Q in Power School, which is the code for school-related function or school-related absence or something like that. Students, listen to me. Stop leaving class early. We're having so many issues during the fall with dismissal being 3:10, and I would see people walking around the building at 2:55. We're not going to have that. If I see that happening, I'm just going to send you back to class and not let you go. Okay? Don't leave class any earlier than you're supposed to. You're already missing enough class later in the day because of your sport commitments. Also, students, if you are going to be out, tell the teacher and find out what you're missing. Okay, make the teacher's life easier by arranging times to make up assessments and stuff like that. If you are starting to fall behind in your classes, we may need to work something out with your teachers where maybe you're not going to leave every single day or every single contest, or you'll leave at the end of the school day and you'll arrive at the contest late. Those might be things we have to work out at some point. I'm happy to say that in the fall semester, well over half, nearly 2/3 of our student athletes did get scholar athlete distinction, and did a great job in the classroom. We're really proud of having, outstanding academics at RTHS, and our student athletes tend to do very, very well. But if you fall behind, if you need additional help, please tell your teachers. You can tell me, tell your coach. We'll try to work something out so we get you caught up, because the most important thing is that you pass your classes and graduate. Behavior and sportsmanship. This is something, another thing that I'm happy to say that we don't have a lot of problems with at RTHS. Only a handful of times we had to actually delve into anything like this, but we do expect our student athletes to comport themselves with the utmost integrity and etiquette and sportsmanship, especially when we are at other places, when we are competing at other schools or places where we're not hosting. I mean, we want people to behave everywhere, but especially when we're being hosted somewhere, right? We want to put our best foot forward. If you can't uphold this standard, we're going to have to deal with it. If you get suspended out of school, you are suspended for a minimum of 1 contest. You'll miss any, if there's 3 games while you're suspended, you're going to miss all 3 of those games. If you get suspended for 1 day and there's not a contest, when you come back to school, you'll be suspended for the next game after that, or the next contest after that. If you get suspended a second time, you are off teams for the rest of the year. Hopefully that will not be something we ever have to deal with. If you are ejected from a contest for any reason, it is a 2-game suspension per athletic association policy. You have to take a sportsmanship class online to get back in their good graces. If you are ejected from a contest for fighting, this is a school policy. You will never play another sport for RTHS ever again. That's never happened. I hope it never does. And coaches may have policies that are more strict than this when it comes to behavior and sportsmanship, and I would certainly support them in that. Transportation has become a little bit different this year. If you've been in athletics in previous years, we used to have a much more stringent, regimented carpool system to get athletes to contests. We've sort of done away with that this year. Now, if you have a license and you have been approved for this in the transportation waiver form and Dragonfly, you can drive yourself to any contest, home or away. If it's legal and the other parents are okay with it, you can also drive your teammates to contests, home or away. In extraordinary circumstances, RTHS will provide transportation like buses, like for playoff events or for contests that are particularly far away where we have a large group where it's hard to get everybody there. Some instances of that, for soccer this year, I guess it wasn't this year, but last last spring, we sent the girls soccer team out to Roanoke Rapids for playoffs. We sent the indoor track team to Winston-Salem this year for one of their meets in December. So we do stuff like that occasionally if we need to. If you're having trouble getting a ride, if there's an issue there where a parent can't pick you up or something happens, short notice, or if it's something you know about ahead of time, just let the coaches know or me, and we'll try to figure something out for you to help out. Okay. At this time, I will entertain any questions you may have. I got a thing in the comments. Please send us the link to pay the athletic fee. It was in the athletic notes this afternoon, and it was also in the message that went out on Parent Square last night. So hopefully you're able to find that there. Does anyone else have any other questions? Wow. I did that good of a job covering everything, huh? Okay. All right. Well, the last bit of this presentation is the QR code here. So use your phone, scan that QR code. It will take you to a form where you fill out your information and you attest that you viewed this presentation, that you read the handbook, that you viewed the crash course concussion video, which I've linked in a couple of places. And you can also ask some questions there if you think of something later, and I can send that, send you an answer to that question should you have it. Any question here in the chat? This is a spring meeting. We'll deal with uniforms for future seasons later. Okay, any other questions about this season? Okay, I will leave this up for just a minute to give you guys a chance to scan the QR code. And if you, again, have any other questions, you can put it in that form or shoot me an email anytime. For the boys tennis people, I'm going to kill this meeting. I think I told you, and then I'm going to reopen it in a few minutes so that Coach B can do your preseason meeting in this Zoom space. All right. Thank you again to everybody, and take care.
Thanks, Mr. Drake.
Thank you. Good night.
Night.